Many thanks for staying with us right here on News Central. This is E Central, where we talk entertainment. Hey, today we're going to be talking about the Grammys, of course, from the African perspective. And I've got G's from BBMzansi. And of course, the Big Slap also has an update. And if you want to know all these coming through on this show, just stick around and stay with us. Thanks for joining us once again. My name, JJ Raymond. You're welcome. Once again, welcome to E Central, where we talk entertainment. Now, we start from the big apology. Now, remember that Two Faces song that says, "Darling, forgive and forget." Now, there's someone saying this, and this time it's Annie Idibia's elder brother, Wisdom Macaulay, who has apologized to her for accusing her of abusing him. You know, he alleged that, and also said that she didn't pay him for his services, for being violent to him, and even introducing him to illicit drugs. Wisdom used the video on his Instagram account to apologize to his sister, her husband, and the entire Idibia family, not forgetting his mother, wife, and in-laws. And he says, this apology comes, he's talked about a whole lot of things, but it's all about this apology that comes after Wisdom said last week in a very lengthy Instagram video that said that he's been working with the actress, but she refused to pay him of his dues, and also claimed that Annie Idibia was a violent person and would do very erratic things whenever she was angry. And he further stated that he no longer wanted to be associated with the actress and asked family and friends not to even reach him or talk about anything that concerns Annie Idibia. But it now appears that Wisdom is now more. Okay. He's got some wisdom right now, right? Well, over to someone who is quite known right here in Nigeria and even Africa. I'm talking about Daddy Showkey. Now, how much is your hair worth to you? That's you who's watching. Sometimes people have an attachment to their hair, especially ladies, right? And that is quite understandable. From hair being culture, being a part of their culture, to maybe their personal style, or even a spiritual choice. And, sometimes my hair too, a part of that. But now, the veteran Nigerian singer Daddy Showkey has shared the importance behind his dreads, a style he has worn for so many years. Showkey says he, in the past, rejected an offer up to some tens of millions or even, a lot of millions to cut his dreadlocks. Speaking as a guest during a special service, Showkey said, "I promise God that if he moved me from the ghetto to grace, I would never cut my hair. I challenged God that if he could make me successful, I would keep my hair as a covenant with him. Truly, God has overdone it over and over again." And he went on to say that, he's so grateful to God. "I did not keep the dreadlocks to be a Rastaman." That's what he said. "It is because of the covenant I have with God. I have been offered millions of naira to cut my hair, but I refused because I had made a covenant with God." That genuinely born artist also stated that he attended the service in order to use his story to encourage others. And the veteran singer is best remembered for that song, that 1996 song entitled "Dinah, If You See My Dinah." Beautiful song right there, and even a lot more tunes. Respect to him and respect to his dreads. Absolutely impressive. And one guy who is making the waves right now is from Ghana. Yes, Black Sheriff. You know that? Black Sheriff's Kwaku the Traveler. Kwaku the Traveler. I love that song. If you haven't seen that song, better go take a look at it. It's actually #1 right here in Nigeria. Black Sheriff continues to make waves beyond Ghana. The rapper's new single called Kwaku the Traveler actually is the first Ghanaian song right now to become #1 on the top 100 Apple Music chart in Nigeria. And the song is also #1 on the same chart in Ghana. Kwaku the Traveler tells the story of a young man struggling to make a life for himself. On that path to success, there are a whole lot of sacrifices and life-altering decisions that have to be made. And what happens? I don't know. You just go take a look at that video, listen to the song, and now we all know that Ghana and Nigeria have a history of being in competition. Yes, when it comes to sports, of course, when it comes to jollof rice too, the war never stops. And Nigeria didn't even qualify for the World Cup. Yeah, Ghana did instead of Nigeria. So this is another flipping of the script and may come as a surprise for so many, but to Ghanaians, it's just cool. And what are we looking for right now? Waiting for maybe Shatta Wale trying to make a comment right now. Yeah, I'm really counting down to Shatta Wale saying something. Like 1, 2, 3. Okay, he's not said yet. But this really comes to show that good music is good music and can be appreciated by people across the world and all around borders. Respect to that great artist and all Nigerian artists too, making us pretty proud. I mean, whether Nigerian, South African, it doesn't really matter. I'm talking about South Africa right now. After 6 years of waiting for the return of BBMzansi, one of the biggest reality shows in South Africa is back. For the past 10 weeks, South Africans have watched the third season of the show, where one winner has now walked away with a prize of 2 million rands. Big money. And who is the winner? Come on, man. Give me the name of the winner, man. You know the name. You know the name. Don't you know the name? Don't you know the name of the winner? Come on. Who is it? It's a lady. And her name is Mwambwandino. Oh, man. I didn't just kill that, did I? But congratulations to her. Absolutely impressive. Take a look at this.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of BBMzansi Season 3, Beke Lebeke, is Mpho. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, Cairo. It's been an amazing journey. Mpho as she kneels, gives her competitor a hug.
For Wambadimo, congratulations to her beautiful lady. You know, the final kicked off with a musical performance by South African house music trio Mikasa, one of my favorites actually. The first housemate to leave the house was Tools, followed by Lebo, who took the pretty news with a smile. I mean, yeah. And the third housemate to leave the house was Stemba, leaving Gashwan and Mpho Wambadimo as the last contestants standing. And of course, she won, becoming the first woman to win the South African version of the show. Quite impressive. Well, the show saw other performances from the likes of Q-Mark and Tip Z, Ziggs Bantwini, and Kayan Drasso. Fans of the show are already excited and can't wait for the next season, while others are already standing their faves as it is quite popular in Nigeria. You've got our own BB Niger. But guess what? I have someone coming shortly. I'm going to be talking about the Grammys, but I have other gist for you. Stick around right here on E Central.
News Central TV, Africa's #1 storyteller, has come with the best of both worlds. With a combination of news app and live TV, we ensure that you keep track of the latest headlines, breaking news, and in-depth analysis from professional journalists from around the continent. Download the News Central TV app on Android and iOS and get started today. Don't forget to follow us on News Central's social media platforms. News Central, Africa First.
Many thanks for staying with us right here on E Central. Now, the awards season is winding down. From the slap that has gone down in history at the Oscars to the controversy that has trailed the Grammys, at least right here in Nigeria. I've got the latest for you, talking about the Oscars. Oh no, talking about the Grammys, away from the whole slap. Joining me today is Oris, culture consultant, film and music critic. Thank you for joining us right here on E Central, Oris.
Happy to be here.
Now, were there any surprises for you in how the wins aligned at the 64th Grammys, especially in the categories we've been keeping an eye on? Best music, best global music performance, as well as best global music album, etc. Any surprises for you?
To be honest, I don't know if I will put it in my surprises. What I probably had was not surprises, but disappointment. Yes, that's it. I wanted the Kutis to win, but they didn't win. So I think for me that was the major thing. So it wasn't a surprise per se. It was just, I really would have loved these guys to win, but it didn't quite happen.
Well, there's a lot of controversy, or let me use reactions. I mean, to Wizkid not winning for his Made in Lagos album. And you wrote a thread on how political the Grammys is. What is politics, or what is this politics? What is Grammy and what is politics in Grammy? I mean, for such a category like Best Global Music Album, what's it based on? How come he didn't win that?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest problems we have as Nigerians is that we kind of expect to win everything if we are qualified for it. And I think for anybody concerned at all, the Grammys are to be nominated at the Grammys is big enough, to be honest. It's great, of course, but you feel like you want people to win. But no, I do not think that Whiskey was ever going to win it. And as you just said, it's because of the politics. The Grammys are a super, super political outfit. And people assume that it's if you make a good album or you make a good song and then voila, you get a Grammy. It's not really like that. So you have to, there's something called a campaign. You must campaign. In the world, there are like, I don't know, every day there's probably up to, I don't know, thousands of songs getting released per day. You need to find a way to get the academy to recognize that you have made this album and they should consider it for the Grammys. Now, the way you do that is to like make a campaign to make people aware that, make the Revenue Academy, the voters at the academy, aware that you have done something and you think it's good enough to be counted in the Grammys. So it's good enough to like get to the Grammys. So you do all of this campaign. Mostly you go to the radio, you go to TV, you go to the newspapers, you go to the magazines, just to let everybody understand that, you know what, I have made this work and it's ambitious enough and I think it's good enough to be considered at the Grammys. Now, that's like, in fact, even the more important part of the work, much more than the song actually, frankly. You have the song, you have an album, but of course the next thing is you have to do the campaign so that people understand that you actually made this record. So after you do that, then there's all of these things that now come into play. Remember, this is not Africa. It's not a Nigerian award, it's an American award. It's essentially for Americans. So again, these people are not listening to your songs on the radio per se. They're not playing. It's not. There's no. I don't know. Cool FM or something. There's no. I don't know FM over there. So you have to figure out how you get them to understand this what you've done. And of course, when the ballots finally gets to each of the members of the academy, they have to like say, okay, you know what, for this category, this is the song I think, or this is the album that's probably right. Now, for people who are in Nigeria, because you've heard Essence all year long, you feel like, oh, it's popular, maybe you want to give it because it's popular. But two things to note. One, the Grammys are not a popularity machine, on the one hand. And two, the people who vote at the Grammys have a particular view as what Africa is. And for them, Africa is an incredibly troubled, problematic continent. If you're not making music that addresses those troubles or those incidents, it feels like you are not really capturing what Africa in their imagination is about.
Okay.
Whiskey doesn't do that. So it's always going to be difficult for Whiskey to get into like the more rarefied sections of business. Okay. So that's really just what it's about. There's the media, there's the politics, there's all of these things involved.
So talking about this politics and talking about, the campaign, it has to be majorly in the United States, not any other part of the world. It has to be a United States campaign.
Yeah, so it has to, first things first, of course, it has to be the Americas. A lot of people who are voting, a chunk of them are based in the US. So it has to be like an American campaign. But you understand that America is also not, it's insular, but it's not so insular. So it means that so for instance, there are certain newspapers or magazines or publications that also get read by Americans. Okay. So for instance, the Guardian UK is a very big newspaper in the UK, but of course it has a global reach, and so Americans also read it. So when I think it was I think both of them, both Bonner and Whiskey, I think they both held interviews in the Guardian UK over the past 2-3 years. And the idea generally is that, okay, there are people who are probably members of the academy who would read that kind of like a paper. And so they were aware that, oh, this guy has done something and this guy is big enough to like get considered. So when it comes to the ballots, they record, oh, this guy was there. So that's the thing. So majorly, you are right, it's America, but there's also parts of the world too that gets a play in all of these matters. Nigeria is one of them, sadly.
Kudos to Angelique Kidjo. She's literally the woman with the Midas touch. She has won the best.
The academy, I mean, up until a few years ago, a lot of them, probably 70-60% of them are white men, and white men of a certain age. I think it's only also recently decided to like figure out how to like make the American Academy voting body more diverse. What that means is for younger people, I don't know, non-white people and stuff, generally speaking. So, but Angelique, and that's the thing about Angelique Kidjo. Angelique Kidjo has existed in the world music space for, I think, since 86 or in the late 80s, so that's, I don't know, 3 decades. So what that means is that if you're an academy member, say in 1991 or 1992, at which time I think Angelique Kidjo had one Grammy at that time, you probably, if you're still alive now, you're still in the academy, so you're still going to vote. If you ever saw a list of artists from Africa and you felt like, oh, this was a year that Africa should probably get an award, for instance, in that category, chances are that you pick Angelique Kidjo because you've known her since you're young. Really, really high,
So you're saying that the more familiar, the more popular you are, or the more familiar they are with you or about your songs and your name, the more likely it is for you to win the Grammys.
Yeah, they're saying in the Grammys, there's, even in most of the Grammys, actually, there are people who are like perennial favorites, where if they release an album this year, at least you can expect the nomination. And sometimes it goes by season. There was a period in which Alicia Keys was like a favorite of the Grammys. I think first after she did songs in A minor, which swept I think 3 or 4 or 5 Grammys. Then she did what's the second? I think the Diary or something. That album, which I didn't think was as good as the first one, but she also got I think 2 or 3 Grammys for that. There are people like that. Then there is what's his name? Kanye West. Who, even if he insults the Grammys,
and now it's Billie Eilish and the rest of them.
They're still going to nominate him. That's
okay.
So the people who are like that, and Angelique.
Let to go. Now the Grammys have come and gone. Are we still expecting any reactions? To come in due time. And some people are actually, talking about the Grammys and talking about that we don't need the Grammys to validate our music, or that we should not put too much, hopes on the Grammys. In fact, that it's time has come for Africans to even create their own platform that is as big as the Grammys. What do you think the Nigerian music industry should learn from this, especially those who have dreams of the Grammys?
Sorry, are you asking what I think as concerning the idea that Africa should have its own platform that's as big as the Grammys?
Yes, the fact that so many persons say, hey, we shouldn't put our hopes on the Grammys. What should we do to even, get our music to that platform, to become that big, and also have our own platform that we say, yes, this is our Grammys? What can we do?
So I think those are 2 different questions. You certainly do not absolutely need to, get a Grammy to penetrate the American markets. You certainly don't need that. But it's incredibly difficult if you don't get certain things right. Of course, everybody shouts online these days. That's fine. However, radio is still a super potent media everywhere in the world. And so until Nigerian music or African music can penetrate the regular mainstream radio in the US, it's going to be difficult for our music to get into get to that particular level. But you also have to understand that, as concerning the platforms, the center of the entertainment world everywhere, globally, is the US. So unless that changes, frankly, there is nothing anybody creates anywhere in the world that is ever going to rival the Oscars for film, the Emmys for TV, and the Grammys for music. It's just not going to happen because America is the center of the entertainment scene. Until that center shifts, and then whoever it shifts to, that place creates something. But it's difficult because the Oscars have been on since 1929. That's when they did the first one. 1958 for the Grammys. And I think the Emmys is somewhere in between. These are I don't know, how do I put it? These are lifetime, 2 lifetimes. I think this edition was the 94th Grammys. These are lifetime events. So it's incredibly difficult for any one person or any one country to say, you know what, I want to do this and then create this. I don't think it's possible. So of course, if we dominate radio, we can figure out a way to get into the global scene. But everybody who grew up understanding that the Grammys was if you were born in the 80s or 70s or even the 90s, in your head, the idea is if you have made money, to get your respect from your peers, you need to get the Grammy. That idea will never change for those particular for that generation. So
thank you, Oris.
It's just difficult.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much for sharing this insight with us, talking about the Grammys. And thanks for staying with us on E Central. We have more stories coming up after this break. Stick around. And still talking about the Grammys, it seems the controversy surrounding the award shows is not ready to die out anytime soon. The air surrounding the Grammys seems to have left a bad vibe that some want to move away from. Who's been left without a sour taste in her mouth after the Grammys? I'm talking about no one else but the Bronx rapper Cardi B. Cardi decided to skip out of the 2022 Grammys despite nominated for Best Rap Performance, which she lost to Baby Kim and Kendrick Lamar's Family Ties. The rapper wasn't the only artist who didn't make it to the event. Ariana Grande, Taylor Swift, and Ye were among other nominees who were absent. But Cardi B's fans were not happy about her absence in particular, and they took to Twitter to call the rapper out. The back and forth with her and her fans appears to have started after she shared one tweet supporting her decision not to attend the award show. However, things escalated when one fan wrote, "I bet your son wouldn't like for you to be on your beep while teasing us fans and not ever dropping music." And Cardi responded, "I hope your mom dies." After reading mean comments dragging us on into the whole drama, the Grammy Award-winning rapper posted, "I am deleting my Twitter, but God, I hate this fan base. You got the slow G's dragging my kids all cause you all thought I was going to the Grammys and I didn't." She then deactivated her account. It's unclear whether this decision is temporary or not. However, this isn't the first time Cardi B has deleted her Twitter. She previously deactivated her Instagram account in February 2019, and that was in response to the backlash from her historic Grammy victory. She also deleted her Twitter account in October 2020 after filing for divorce from her husband, Offset. And who is next on my list? It has to be the super slapper, Will Smith. Well, the consequences of Will Smith's decision to slap Chris Rock on the Oscar stage are continuing to reverberate in his life. Movie streaming giant Netflix has decided to put the Smith-led move and that movie called Fast and Loose on hold. Filmmaker, actor, and stunt coordinator David Leitch withdrew from the movie a week before the Oscars, and Netflix was trying to find another director. But after the infamous Oscars incident, the company has decided to fully put that movie project on hold for now. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Leitch pulled out from the Netflix movie and took on another role from Universal in an upcoming film starring Ryan Reynolds called Fall Guy. Meanwhile, Bad Boys Part 4 from Sony, which has been inactive development before Will Smith, slapped Chris Rock. He received a 4-page script prior to the Oscars, and that movie right now has been paused. Adding that a few projects in post-production will also follow suit. Will Smith has resigned from the Academy of Motion Pictures and Arts and Sciences on Friday, issuing a statement where he apologized for his actions and said he would accept any consequences from the board. David Robin, that's the president of the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Sciences, said in a statement that it has accepted Will Smith's resignation and will continue to move forward with disciplinary actions against Will Smith. Well, this is all I've got for you today on this show, East Central. Thanks for staying with us right here, and don't forget to join us on social media at News Central TV. Across all platforms, I'll be waiting for you right there. Thanks for being a part of the show. Have a nice day.